Today we're going to look at creating overhead cupboards using the Duralite Modular Systems Euro 21 lightweight panel construction method. We have here a flush door, full flush door with no push locks. It can however have a push lock if desired. It uses the free space closing mechanisms and is in fact self-closing, which also holds the cabinet door closed. We then also will later look at a more traditional overhead cupboard in the Euro 21 construction style, which has a rounded corner at the bottom edge, uses a push lock and a lift up arm. So we're going to look at both methods of overhead cupboard today. Okay, we're now going to assemble our carcass for the flush door, no push lock, free space lift up overhead cabinet with two doors. We have the bottom of the cabinet, and then we have the top front rail, which we see that we have a divider marked off here, which is the length divided into each door spacing, becoming the centre of the divider or vertical mullion where two doors will meet. So let's start assembling the mouldings on the bottom. I've already fitted this one previously in the last video, so that's staying there. But let's fit the front moulding, which is a overlay corner P757, and I've already placed some glue in the channel there, so I won't do that again. So we now use a Morse rubber hammer, and this moulding is cut to the same length as the bottom panel. So I'll just and as I've going to show you, it is pre-drilled holes for fixing screws on both of the flanges here that you see. So now we'll fit this moulding. It's also been checked out at the ends, which you see in the Duralite Modular System construction guide. So we have down there, line that up, and then we will use the Duralite's mush washer screws. We have these made especially for us with a square drive tip, especially for the Duralite panel. Fixing through pre-drilled holes. The next moulding that we will fit is the back moulding, which is the F channel P521. That also has had holes pre-drilled through the fixing flange for the wall, and also the front holes down into the bottom panel. Also, we have already checked out for the end moulding. So let's put some glue into that one. The urethane glue is available in the Duralite Modular System parts catalogue, just in the corner of those channels. Like so. The back moulding, the F channel, is also cut to the same length as the bottom panel. And we also have pre-drilled a hole. There's a light cable to come through here, and we've used the hot rod to prepare the channel through the bottom. But we've drilled the hole for the light in the back. So just line that up there. Line it up carefully and use our hammer to make sure it's firmly fixed on. Make sure it's flush with the ends. And again, using the Duralite mush washer screws. This moulding is what will hold the cabinet to the wall of your RV. It only needs to glue and screw into the composite panel, and then it can be fixed to the wall of the RV wall linings. You don't need to have a nog, because with the continuous flange with a bead of RTV silicone on the back against your lining, it has been tested absolutely secure, glued and screwed, or siliconed and screwed onto your wall linings. No need for nogs or special timbers. Next, you're still following me there, we've checked out for the end moulding, which is an overlay P757 again. So once again, I'll just work out I've got the right channel there coming in there. So into the corner, just a bead of the urethane glue, into the corners, again pre-drilled through the fixing flanges. What have we got here? We'll go around this way. That fits in between the bottom flanges of the two mouldings. So make sure it's on firmly. Two mush washer screws through the pre-drilled holes. Also fix the moulding at the other end. Next, obviously, if there's a square wall, you can fit an F channel to the back of each of these mouldings, which you'll see I have done, and we have pre-drilled 2 holes in the flange or the upstand there of each of these mouldings. So now I'll put some glue into there. Just in the corners. Make sure we've got the end up the right way with our pre-drilled mounts for the free space mechanism. Push the end in, this is the left hand end, and then screw with the mush washer screws back through the flange into end. That has been checked out, front moulding and back, so the end can come right through to the front. Let's now go to the divider. Again, an F channel glued and fitted to the back of the divider, and again making sure that you've got the right top facing up, of course, on your divider. Again, glue into the channel just in the corners, and then you have pre-drilled side fixing holes. So again, we have the top marked. We've checked out the front lip here with our renovator, as you'll find in the construction guide video, and then we insert that and bring the divider or the vertical mullion right through to the front lip of the overlay corner. Now you can use a piece of Duralite, as I have done in the past, where you can just cut the 45 to give a bit more, just to clear. You could put it in the front channel and just make sure that is vertical. And when you screw these in, so you can just use a square piece of Duralite panel cut, put it in the front channel, hold it square, and then you can screw these screws in. You could put that on the other side if you want to get to that screw. Make sure it's pushed down well into the channel. And there are fixings on the other side of this panel as well, of this divider. Now let's move on to the end. Again, you've pre-drilled for the lift-up mechanism. Make sure that you've got your top marked, that you've pre-drilled these screw holes, and then I will also get some urethane glue into that corner, if you can see that. Just about bumping the camera. Just into the corner. I might just move that back a little so that you can see. And I'm going to, you may not be able to see on the inside, but I'm doing the exact same thing, pushing the right hand end into the glue. Again, you can just use a little piece of moulding to make square panel to check that that is square. And I am, believe it or not, just screwing these back into this end. Just have to believe me on that. Okay, now we're getting a picture here. We have a flange for fixing against the wall. It is silicon and screws through there, and that will be very strong. We also have the F-channel flanges on the back, where a divider goes right to the wall, where it is square. Where it is curved or round, you'll have made a cardboard template, and that will be radiused. You may only use a short piece, but the fixing at the back here, and now the top front rail into the ceiling is very strong for supporting cabinets. The top front rail, as we see here, we have fitted a U-channel. We marked the dividers for each of the door distances on our overhead cupboard, however many we have, where two doors will meet off your plan. Mark it on this top front rail, transfer the measurement onto the bottom panel so that the U-channel at the bottom and the U-channel at the top, which have centre lines squared on them using 19mm spade bit works, score and mark pre-drill. That's exactly the same on this U-channel at the bottom. Centres are exactly the same. It's important. Now, just before we fit this top rail, there's a note or a very helpful tip that I need to show you. And that is that when fitting this top moulding, the overlay corner, which is cut to the same width as the top rail, you pre-drill the two fixing flanges ahead of time. First, fit it onto the end that it's going on, see it's the left-hand end, and pre-drill and fix with screws. There's a couple. Fix this first, this top connecting moulding first fixes in both screws into the end, because once the top is fitted, your drill will be only able to go in on an angle and the screws will lift the unit, the moulding up. So important at this point, fix the two ends first into the two end joiners, the overlay corners, fit them onto the top of the ends first. I've already done that. Second, now we can fit them onto the end Now, I will put a little bit of glue. You can, they're very strong, these corner connections, but if you wish, you can just put an amount of glue into the ends. So that goes on there. Fit that on there. And then screw that into place. We'll do the other end as well. Just in case you weren't able to see at the other end, I've brought it down to this end so this overlay corner gets glued and pushed on to the end of the top rail. Hope you can see that there. And then the mush washer screws are put into this end. So that's how it finishes up. I've also done the other end. So now what we can do in fitting this onto the ends, again I'm just demonstrating where my glue is. We can just put a small, just a bead of glue into the corners, and I'll do the same at the other end. A bead in the channel, the U channel. Then we present that back on top of the unit. Can fit in the ends. Fit the U channel onto the divider. Left hand end. You just push those down. You can make sure the mouldings, the glue can press down. Make sure they're nice and flush. And at this point, we then fit the screws through into the ends and dividers. I'll just do that quickly through the pre-drilled holes. Got those there. Just do the right hand end, and then I'll bring the left hand in, which will be easier for you to see. Just make sure they're flush. Mush washer screws again. Okay, I'll just slide just coming down closer to the camera. And I'll just try to lift that up if you can see. I'm just screwing into the end through that flange. Very good. So now we're starting to see our carcass formed for the overhead cupboard. We can now fit our two bottom front panels. And these don't have to have glue in them necessarily, but you can put a bead of glue in if you want. They're just lined up in there, they're cut between these two ends and the dividers. And as I mentioned, we've pre-drilled the screw holes from the inside. Does make it easier to fit into position. Just put a couple of screws into those. From the back. Just put a couple in to hold it for now. Put in as many as you like. Same on the left hand side. Okay, this prevents luggage from falling out. Also, if you did wish a push lock, you put a mounting block on the back, put a catch plate for the push lock to latch onto. So that's our carcass parts. We now will quickly install the the free space mechanisms. So we've got those there, that's that one for this end. As we've already demonstrated, we have used the Duralite free space template, drilling templates to drill the holes for the mounting these units, the left and right hand. So let's just install them, shall we? That one goes, I've just got to get them on the right end. So we have two mounting lugs and a Euro screw. On the divider, you need to remove the tall, longer Euro screws and replace them with the shorter Euro screws so the screws don't bind. I've already done this, and we explain that in the construction guide. So these two lugs fit into the top two holes. We have those details for you in the full construction manual. Tighten that Euro screw in there, and then also we have the shorter Euro screw for the other side. I'll just mount that one into position and fix. Pulls in nice and tight, and the longer Euro screws just go on the full ends. Last one on this end. Push the lugs into the holes, and then tighten up the Euro screw. That's it. It's starting to look pretty good there. Now we'll fit the doors. Just reach across here to grab them. So this one here is the left-hand door. Yep, left hand. Reach across one more time. Excuse me. For the right-hand door. So we have explained in detail, but the doors fit down on top of these flanges. Generally it might be a little bit higher, but these two lugs press down and in, and I will do that now. We do show you on we have the templates, in the detailed construction guide we have the wrong side. We have the templates for pre-drilling these brackets. So we'll just, I'll tip the unit up a little bit. It might be easier for me to do it and demonstrate to you. So I'll just push these, bring it a little bit closer to me. Just put that one there. Bring these in so we can see. So I'm going to push these lugs in and down. These lugs in and down. To remove them, you simply pull these flaps down and lift it up. There's door one and door two. Get one side in, and then we'll do the second side. Now, one thing I will mention that there are various strengths of these mechanisms. Duralite is such a lightweight panel that there are different strengths, and a door of this size, which is 640 by nearly 400, you need a B strength. If it's a bigger door, about 1 metre by 400, then you would go to a C strength, and all the adjustments sideways, up and down, and also the tensions are all on in the box that these lift ups come in. there's a box showing all of the adjustments and tensions. Right, now to fit our gable ends. Again, all the instructions, the detailed instructions for these gable ends are in the Dura-Lite Modular System full construction video and in the guide. But to fix the gable ends, we have pre-drilled 4 holes through the end of the carcass, and we fix that through those holes using a 8 gauge pan head, 30mm long, with a tidy small washer underneath. And I need a different screw tip to that one. This one here. So present if you're fitting the gable end on the bench, present it up to the cabinet. You'll see that must be at least the length of this extra overhang below on the free space. If you're not having a push lock, then you must carry the door, as I'll show you here, 15 to 20mm below, so that you can get your hands onto it. They're self-closing, of course. So obviously your gable end, flush with the top, flush with the back, will protrude the same distance down below. It must be the same height as the doors, or a little further, and it's a little deeper to allow for any adjustment on the doors. So having lined that up nice and flush with the top, I can fix it through the pre-drilled holes, just up nice and tight there. I usually allow about 4 fixings. So that's the gable end fitted. And we also, as I previously showed you in the construction guide, the complete guide, how that hole is drilled, heat probed, wire, conduit can be placed inside if required in the channel, and the light, I've got that on the full guide how to fit that. But as we can see, I've got another gable end to fit at the other end. But yeah, that's your finish. Now, as you can see the end there, without a gable end, it is not a finished end. So if that was up against a wall, you would not see that, so that's fine. And you would fix this panel here, perhaps simply to a wall. You would fix through into a wall, perhaps a shower wall or something. You would fix that straight through. But if it's going to be seen, that's why you need to put the gable end on. And I will fit the gable end on this end here. Again, flush with the top. So that's carcass. Fit a carcass to an end. Make sure you have enough gap there to clear the obstacles on the wall, or fit and space with a divider. So again, the same screws, 8 gauge, 30mm long, a nice small washer underneath it. Just prevents the screws from pulling too far into the Dura-Lite. Two more to go. Last screw. Can hold it up with one hand. Duralite flush door, no push lock, self-lifting, self-closing, self-supporting, self-closing unit. Thank you. We're now going to install our cabinet into the RV, in this case, into a square wall ceiling situation. So, as we mentioned as part of the fixing, turn this over, you may also, to help the fixing, use a bead of bathroom RTV silicone, run a bead along the back of the F channel, also a bead on the backs F channels on the ends and dividers. You may also wish to add a bead of silicone not too far back from the front, along on the top front rail to assist in holding to the ceiling along with the screws provided there. And that is just not too far from the front, so if you ever have to remove the unit, you can insert a sharp blade or a craft knife and slice through the silicone as you release the overhead cupboard. So, imagining that I have fixed the silicone, we'll now lift the cabinet into place. I have provided some marks, obviously. You may wish to also measure down some marks for your distance. This is a display unit, so as I've mentioned, I have a light fitted underneath, and for me, the wires coming from the light back through my display wall, you will in fact you will have a wire coming from behind your lining and out through the wall lining. So you will go the opposite way. You'll insert your wire through the hole in the back of the cabinet, and you'll draw it out through the bottom of the cabinet and we'll connect it at the light. So you'll do it in the reverse of what I'm going to do. So let's first feed the wire, my display wire, back through the wall. Make sure it goes through correctly. Present the cabinet, the silicone. I'm going to fix through the F channel, through the pre-drilled holes, which will help hold the cabinet for me. I will insert a couple more screws. These are mush washer screws, specially made for Duralite modular systems. They have a square head, which fits nicely onto a #1 square drive tip. Again, through the pre-drilled holes. Putting a few in just to hold it there, and then I will fit the unit up into the ceiling. Just need to change the bit. I have square drive 8 gauge screws here with the washer. Screw these up into the ceiling, through the lining into your ceiling support strut or nog in the roof structure. The washer just prevents the screw head penetrating or pressing into the Duralite panel. I'm now complete fitting the washer screws back through the cabinet, through the F channel into the wall. I've placed those at about approximately every 250 millimeters, which is ample. And since we have the continuous F channel moulding, we can screw as many as we personally feel are required, and it provides a flexible, slightly flexible, but firm moulding for vibration that an RV or mobile vehicle will have. The continuous F channel is the perfect connection between cabinet and wall linings. Let's get another one into there. I will now fit the doors on the free space. These are full flush doors. I'll just go and get my doors. Full cover flush doors, no push locks. Simply present on the free space, present the lugs, the back ones. Just get one on first and then you just press down, slide in. Door one. So back lug drops in. Get the back one on the first. Push in, present, push down, push in, and to take off, pull these lugs down and just slide out. So closing, it comes in there. This is a flush finish, full cover cabinet. Free space lift up and a self-close. This one here as well. And the adjustments, as we've mentioned, are all in the part that comes, the catalogue that comes with the free space. If the ceiling or walls are a composite fiberglass, such as this panel donated to us by Styromax, you may also wish to use a silicone bead on the back, on the fixing flange when applying it to the walls or the ceiling, and then as well as the screws, the mush washer screws through the fixing flange at appropriate spacings. You can see the silicone I've got under here. You may also use blind or pop rivets into the fiberglass. This is extremely strong, and the reason for the silicone is that should the cabinet need to be removed, our sharp craft knife will release the silicone should the cabinet need to be removed, whereas if you use a glue, you will never get the craft knife in there to release. I'm actually going to demonstrate the process on this section here. I have used just a regular bathroom silicone. I put a bead just behind the channel, doesn't have to be large. And then I'll fix that. I've pre-drilled the hole. I'm going to demonstrate first the use of a pop rivet. Drilled a 1/8 hole, and I'll have a 1/8 rivet, 3mm. Just get it so you can see it. Nice and secure. The silicone will also add adhesion under there, and then I'll just demonstrate that I've pre-drilled a hole for the mush washer, and I'm using just a small 2mm drill through into the fiberglass. Just get my drill, my screw gun, applying that into the hole, two very secure methods of holding the Durolite panelling onto fiberglass composite walls. These are extremely strong connections. Also, as you'll see what I've demonstrated here into perhaps a ceiling panel, a top front rail such as this one here, we can drill and fix through the top front rail with a 8 gauge pan head screw using a small washer underneath, small or size that you feel comfortable with, and that is glued and screwed as well. I have used silicone bead. You can put just a bead of silicone underneath, and that could also be released. You keep the bead of silicone near the front so the craft knife could get it. That's only if ever you needed to remove the cabinet, but it enhances the screws, as you can see that we have used here at suitable spaces, and a bead of silicone across the top will give you a very secure method of fixing into fiberglass composite. Just like to introduce, this is our rounded corner overhead cupboard. It's the same style as the plan shown in the Durolite Modular Systems Lightweight Construction Guide. It is the lift up door overhead cupboards with a rounded corner, and in this construction guide it shows all the details, cross section with a square ceiling and wall connection, also a curved ceiling wall connection with all of the details on there. Looking back at our unit, this unit here has the rounded corner, soft rounded corner at the base. It uses a standard push lock to secure it, and to hold it up it uses the Duo stay, and this is listed on the construction guide. It has standard hinges mounted to the top front rail. This cabinet shows you a half overlay hinge fitted to the top rail, allowing for a 9 to 10 millimetre gap between the door and the ceiling if required, and that is listed in the construction guide. Also an alternative setup for the door to come right to the 3 millimetres below the top, close to the ceiling. You simply use the full overlay hinge and increase the door size appropriately. Because there's this nice rounded corner on the base of the cabinet, the gable ends are also able to be rounded to match, and to do this, to finish this gable end, we use the P341 flexible self-adhesive edge finish or edge trim, which will bend nice and tight. It features a very durable and strong self-adhesive tape on the back. So that has been used now for 16 years in Australia and New Zealand, and shows to be very durable and fixes on nice and strong to give that nice curved edge. We now also have, coming back to our push lock, you'll notice on the inside, on the back of this bottom front panel is a mounting block and a catch plate screwed from behind. So this is fitted behind the front panel and allows it's adjustable forward and back, and allows for the push lock to be secured for the cupboard. Okay, the round corner overhead cupboard, which we see here. I'm going to very quickly just run through the assembly of the carcass of this cupboard. Won't be a lot of explaining, I'm just showing you how it all goes together. screws. End moulding, overlay corner. Fits between front P369, back underneath distance of the F channel at the back. It is actually to the front top flange of the 469, and then a notch is cut out at the back to prevent overlapping. This is done using a squared pine block and a renovator tool. As I've demonstrated previously, makes a lot of noise, but we can go down following the square block and then finish the bottom inside. That out there. Drop that. Glue. Moulding. Make sure it's on nice and firm. Wash your screws through pre-drilled holes. We have already lined up the centres for the dividers, transferred them from the top front rail down to the bottom. Now we cut U-channel the same width as the top front rail. To find a centre line, 19mm spade bit, score a line and mark straight down the middle of the U-channel. Pre-drill 2 holes. You could also pre-drill your side holes as well. So then we put glue on the underneath side of the channel. Centre lines line up. We do the same on the bottom U-channel, that will line up with that same centre line. Again, 19mm spade bit, carefully just to slide down. Sometimes it's easier to prepare a longer length with the spade tip there, the 19mm, and score through a longer piece and then chop it into small sections. Pre-drill the holes and apply glue to the back, and then present it onto the bottom of the panel. I've pre-drilled the holes. Line the centre up through the U-channel and mark the squared line for the divider. The end glue channel, pre-drilled holes, each band, insert into the glue. You may also fit an F channel if it is a square wall to the back. vertical mullion, glue in the U-channel, pre-drill the side fixings, insert, let's move my screws down here, much looser screws, and glue. Top front rail, fit on the top. Again, the centre line is the same as the bottom fixing. Now I'm going to just fix the end. The connection is overlay corner. Cut to the same width as the top rail. This will fit about the right way. This will fit on top of the end. Just remember, fix it first to the end panel, flush. Pre-drill, square drill going in, and prefix the screws into the end. And then remove them, and then you glue, fit them to the top front rail. Just before we fit that on, I just need to show you something you have to do first. Just take that back out there. Just missed a step there. We have to fit a hinge mount. So on this rail, you already will have marked this out. But your door, which I've already got made here, the door has an allowance on the end for a slight gap from the end, so your door is in 3mm, and then you mark the length of your door where the two doors will meet the centre. But you will also measure in for your hinge, and I'm going to use as an example 100mm in from the door. So you will have your 3mm gap and then 100mm on the door. So it's 100 plus whatever your gap is at the end, 3mm recommended. So you will measure then to fit the hinge mount. It's handy to do it now, that's why I wanted to show you. So you will come in 3mm gap and 100mm and put a mark. And that is where your hinge mount will be, and that will be the same 100mm in on the door and the 3mm gap. So we come in gap plus 100, the mark, so gap plus 100, 103, this is an example, square line. Then you will use the template provided in the Duralite modular system, Euro 21 cabinet, I'll just show you there, cabinet hinge mount. It's in 37mm. That centre line lines up on your centre mark that you have 103mm in, and then it gives you a distance down the two pilot holes. You drill those pilot holes, and then so the pilot holes go through the template, and then follow the instructions on the template. You then need a 5mm hole using a a dowel point tip, dowel, 5mm dowel drill, and then you go into pilot holes. Then you insert to the front, insert the mount bracket into these holes. I'll just get those lined up there, and you can then screw them in. That hinge mount then is on the dead centre of where the hinge will be on the door. So it's easier to put these mounts on before you put the end moulding on, because you're able to measure and use the template. So again, we have our hinge mounts on the top rail. We then, if we go back to it, we then are able to screw the overlay corner back onto the top rail. Use glue in there, of course. Finally, fit the top rail. You can fit it over the U-channel over the top of the divider or the jamb, vertical jamb. Glue and screw that on flush with the ends. Put a screw on that side. Now, you can use self-adhesive buffers, just one at each divider and end, just here, before we glue and screw the bottom front panel 40mm high. That just helps keep the bottom front panel out, stops it from kicking in, and keeps it in line with the door, which will also have the same buffer fitted here, so they keep nice and flush. This is glued and screwed into the P467. Just put in one screw at the moment to demonstrate. You can put as many along there as is required. And then all that's left is to mount the lifting lift up mechanism, the duo, and also put the cup hinges in the door. And then with allowing for a door, that's how the carcass is made. And then we can fit a gable end on there as well. One last moulding, which is a finishing moulding, which we haven't put on yet. This is the 469 base corner, and then we fit in the P252, which is a Daycore trim. Finishes it nicely, clips in. So we've put our carcass together of our rounded corner overhead cupboard with this 467 moulding. We've assembled the carcass, we've assembled the hinge mount around the correct way there, and this unit is the carcass behind a rounded corner overhead cupboard, finished on the end with a gable end, and uses a duo lift stay. So that's what this unit will look like. That's the carcass behind it that we've constructed.